English. So we can now start. Good morning, everybody. Dear members and participants, thank you for being with us at this online event. We are very glad to work together with our member company Renomia Bulgaria and to present together the topic risk management as necessity in new reality. Today we will learn more about how risk management supports our business and our growth, helping us to identify risks and could influence our business and even our life. I wish you all the best. Have a nice webinar and do not hesitate to ask your questions and participate in the discussion. Now, I want to give the floor to Mrs. Monica Minkova, Country Manager at Renomia Bulgaria. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vasilev. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Renomia's Risk Management webinar. Appreciate you take the time in your busy schedule today to attend our webinar. And on behalf of all panelists, I would like to say thank you to the German-Bulgarian Chamber of Commerce for giving us a space to present some aspects of the risk management and for supporting the organization of today's webinar. Today's webinar, we will be talking about risk management. To do that, we assembled a team of presenters, and I'm going to introduce them. My name is Monica Minkova, and I oversee Renomia's operations in Bulgaria for over 13 years. My role is to lead a team of experts providing comprehensive insurance solutions and risk management services to corporate businesses in various range of industries. I will be briefly mapping the challenges and changes ahead of insurance industry, which apparently impact or will impact the industry itself, risk management in global and domestic perspective. My colleague Tomasz Dragan, Director of Risk Management Department at Renomia Group, will talk about risk management tools and risk management role. I would like to point out that Tomasz has got a deep knowledge and experience across the CEE region while providing risk management services and performing risk surveys for large and complex risks in the last 15 years. Michał Dubski, having his hybrid role of Client Service Director and Head of the International Broking Center at Renomia Group, will touch the risk management in a different angle by introducing and explaining the correlation between the risk management and placement of large and complex risks on international insurance and reinsurance markets. Evgeny Raikov, CEO of Grafobal Bulgaria, will share his experience and observations in different aspects of enterprise risk management implementation. We will be ending with a Q&A session, and I would encourage you to send your questions on comments over the chat bot or just to address them to the presenters after the end of the presentations. Let's start. The complexity of today's business is the key contributor to increased risk exposure for companies. Higher complexity of the business environment today means that we have new risks or we have changing existing risks leading to businesses not meeting their objectives and their strategic plans. Companies have started to look at risk management not only from a compliance perspective, but also as a driver of value which ensures companies' resistance and survival in a very competitive business environment and changing business environment. Successful companies are managing risks proactively and adapting themselves to changes and new challenges of the market. What are the major challenges, major global changes that will impact or are impacting already insurance industry, risk management, and I won't be wrong if I say our society. Climate changes are the first global challenge and change that we have been observing to happen with escalating frequency of extreme weather-related events such as floods, such as wildfires and record heats. Development of technologies, exponential digitalization, robotics, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and even fast developing of use of cryptocurrency, all this brings new emerging risks, new risks. Data-driven risk management, which is going to drive the future business decisions in preventing and mitigating risks by using advanced risk analytics and data mining techniques, will be as well part of the risk management in the future. Regulatory compliance requirements, no doubt, are increasing and getting more and more complex, which means increased risk of non-compliance for companies and need to prevent non-compliance risks by introducing and implementing various risk management procedures and control. That is to conclude that the risk management today is more complex than ever before, and its perspective is to become even more sophisticated part of the business decision processes. The perception of risk management is sometimes simplistic, limited to performing risk inspections, elaborating risk surveys, calculating probable maximum loss, etc. But in fact, the risk management is a complex and broad area consisting of different directions and aspects of managing, preventing, mitigating, and even retaining the risk. The list that you'll see on the next slide of different aspects, techniques, and tools of risk management is not pretending to be an exhaustive one, but perhaps that are the main areas of risk management. Business continuity planning, which helps companies to overcome the consequences of business disruption in case of a risk occurrence, by developing disaster recovery plans, procedures, and control strategies. Enterprise risk management, that will be touched later on by Evgeny as well, consists of various policies, tools, such as registers, risk assessment, event notification procedures, root cause analysis, and helps companies to reduce claims and to reduce insurance costs, to reduce premiums. Cyber risk management, it's a topic of the day, and it will be in the future. Mitigates the cyber risks, cyber security risks, cyber crime, such as computer viruses, ransomware, hackers, and it could be as well just a pure human error. It helps companies to recover quickly and to recover at a lower cost after a cyber incident. Health and safety risk management protects and help companies to protect their employees, to fulfill business regulatory requirements, and to reduce labor costs by reducing downtimes and number or even existence of accidents. Property loss control. By implementing preventive property loss control measures, companies reduce or prevent a range of costs ahead of the occurrence of an eventual insurance event, or they prevent claims. All these risk management techniques are being used and implemented in today's risk management and constitute a part of services that Renomia Group provides to its clients. As I'm approaching the time limit of my intro presentation, let me give you a short insight of Renomia Group story and present. Renomia ranks among the leaders in insurance and risk management. The business was started in 1993 in Czech Republic as a family-run company with the ambition to give clients high standard service accompanied with a deep insight of industry and knowledge. Over the course of its history, Renomia innovated itself into a professional enterprise with an international presence. For less than 3 decades, Renomia became the largest independent insurance broker established in the CE region, providing services all over the world with 1,500 experienced professionals dedicated to the needs of our clients from various industries. We manage insurance programs of more than 70,000 corporate clients while handling on an annual basis 75,000 plus claims. Nowadays, we provide services to corporate clients and their employees in 31 countries through our own offices and our own partner network, Renomia European Partners. In 2019, Renomia has globally extended its footprint by entering into a strategic partnership with Gallagher, the fourth largest global insurance broker, having offices in more than 150 countries and providing risk management and insurance solutions with a team of 32,000 employees. The partnership has strengthened our know-how, training opportunities for our colleagues and teams, access to global insurance and reinsurance markets, and facilitated development of new specialized products and services for our clients. The risk management is a core part of our services we provide to our clients and a strategic area of Renomia's further development and specialization. And here I will pass the stage to Tomasz to guide you through the risk management tools and risk management role. Tomasz, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Monica, for a very good introduction. So I'm very familiar with this software, but I will try to do my best to share my presentation with you. But first of all, I would like to say that I'm always glad when I'm in Bulgaria. I enjoy the people, the food, and the country. So now I would like to. I'm glad that I have this opportunity just to have this connection. Do you see my presentation?
Now we see it. You have to put it on a full screen.
Yes. Okay. How is better?
It's on the mode for the viewer. For the presenter, you have to change the presenter mode.
maybe we just should.
If you don't mind, you can also present like this. I think it's visible for everybody.
Okay. So I would like to continue with what Monica's started. And the risk management is very wide issue, and as you see on these pictures, this is influencing all the businesses. Risk management is not only about fires; it's not counting the portable extinguishers. It's about the governance of the company. So as a owner or director of the company, you must just satisfy a lot of stakeholders. Yeah, so and to govern your company, you must have stayed up the mission and strategic and business plan, corporate objectives. You have to set up core processes and key dependencies, and all these things could be influenced by some risks. And that's why the risk management is so a wide issue. And as you can see, the risks can have a lot of sources. Yeah, you can divide them on strategic, tactical, operational, compliance sources. And to be honest, by insurance, you can manage, let's say, only those operational ones. Yeah. Sometimes the strategic stems are part of tactical, but mostly the operational ones. And you can see that your risk or risk of the companies can have the financial, infrastructure, reputational, and marketplace impacts. So that's why risk management is a very complex issue, and we are trying to look at our clients through this risk management point of view. Not through the insurance point of view, because we know that our clients have more than insurance problems and could be influenced by more than risks, and our point of view is so wide. Next slide, you can see what is our approach, yeah? And it also describes let's say the general approach of risk management. So first of all, if you would like to manage any risk, you must simply identify the risks. And we look at our clients not only at the present time, but we look at the past time, because we are trying to assess the statistical and loss data of our clients, but not only our clients, but let's say the whole area of business of our clients. We look on our clients on, let's say, a geographical point of view, because okay, you can have the facility in Bulgaria, you can have the facility within Europe, but your supply chain is influenced, could be influenced by significant risks, and your supply chain could be split to China, to USA, to I don't know, to Africa, and those special geographical areas has special risks. And I can just mention the very fresh thing with COVID situation, when there was a lockdown in China. A lot of European companies had the problems, not only because of the lockdown in China, but for example also because of the transportation limitations. Yeah? So as Monica said, the world now is very global, and as it is very global, it's more sensitive or very small risk which can influence all the world. Yeah? We are looking at our clients also for the future, in their future point of view, because we know our clients are developing themselves. So we are trying also to help them with this development and to catch the possible risk which could be connected with this development. So all these areas are included in a risk identification process. After risk identification, you have to assess your risks. So you simply have to say how big is the gravity or probability of the risk which can influence you. By this, we are doing physical risk surveys. We do special and specific risk assessment. We are trying to do severity evaluation, and also we do something like recommendations for our clients, how to improve their risk profile and how to manage the present risks which are influencing their business. After finishing this risk assessment, we are connecting the insurance business, and more deeply Michael will talk about it. But we are discussing with our partners the insurance cover ratio, the insured values, the limits, the deductibles, which are strongly connected with risk appetite of our clients. And also we are trying to discuss the specific arrangements. So we have, let's say, for our risk assessment, we have three basic stakeholders. First of the stakeholder or user is our client. The second is our partner within Renomia to place the insurance policy, and the third is insurance company. Because if you describe the risk, if you assess the risk properly of your client, also the insurance company will see that the risk management is, let's say, on a very good level, and can give a maybe better price, better coverage, and things like this. But I don't want to go deeper because Michael will talk about it. By placing or signing insurance policy, our services is not finished, because we know that our clients need simply more services. So as the risk management is improving, also the insurance angle point of view is improving. If I'm talking about insurance industry, so we are trying to help our clients with business continuity plans. Now the very big issue is resiliency. Resiliency means that you are able to identify all your risk, and you are able to react on the identified and assessed risks, but you are also able to react on non-expected risks. So this is what about is the resiliency. So we are helping our clients with risk management systems. We are doing loss prevention surveys and things like this. It means practically it means that we provide, for example, our risk surveys periodically. We are discussing with our clients the changes in their business, and we are trying to react on it, just to be able to assess the risk, to describe it, and to place it in insurance policy if it's possible. If not, to help our clients to use another tools. Now I maybe will talk about some simple tools to do those four things which I was talking about. For the risk identification, we are using several tools. Here you can see the natural catastrophe risk assessment report, which could be done for, let's say, every place on the planet. And after with this tool, we can assess the flood risk, hailstorm risk, earthquake risk, and things like this, and to be prepared for it, and to place it in insurance policy, and again to help our client to manage it. As one of the outputs from the risk identification, we are using the Renomia Heat Map. We are elaborating this heat map based on our experience, based on our desktop analysis, but finalizing this heat map with the client, because we have to be sure that our feeling of the risk is the same, is on the same level, that we know that the fire is on the same level in our thinking and in thinking of our client. So this is one of the output of our risk identification. Again, we are using another tools like you can see this risk map, which is used for terrorism risk, for kidnap risk, and so on. So all these tools connecting together are resulting in this Renomia Heat Map. And after let's say discussing with the client, we can work on it. We can say what is the level of insurance of specific risks, and we can try to go to the risk assessment. As I said, this risk assessment is mostly based on physical inspection of client sites, which are used for describing the activities and risk related with the activities and its prevention. We are talking about property risk assessment, liability risk assessment, business interruption risk assessment. We are looking at the risk, security risks, machinery breakdown risk assessment, and all other risks which are able to assess on the place. There are some basic outputs from these assessments. So first of these outputs is risk report, which is specifically dedicated for let's say insurance industry, for insurance companies, where we are describing the risk, describing the level of ensuring these risks within our clients' management systems. And we are assessing the maximum probable losses and things like this, which are very important for high quality placement of the risk on the insurance market. We are also producing something like a risk summary and recommendations, and you can see that all these reports are including something like Renomia risk ranking. So here you can see the fire and explosion risk ranking. When we assess, let's say, the risk in inherent level, we assess the effectivity of already implemented preventive measures, and as a result, there is, let's say, real risk. So this very simple graph can describe the level of risk of our client. By this graphical output, we describe several types of risks like explosion, fire, business interruption, and so on. And this is just used for better understanding or better mutual understanding between client, between us, and between insurance company. And this is also the part of our risk summary and recommendations. So as one of the output from our risk surveys are specific recommendations with the pictures, with the identification of what is the area of improvement, how to improve the specific risks, and so on. So you obtain very specific document just for you. Yeah, this is not dedicated for the insurance companies. I said all these things are used as an input for to create the insurance policy with the best ratio of the quality and the price. But this is the issue of Michael. And afterwards, we are helping our clients with consultations and risk management. So on the left side, you can see the general picture how risk management is organized within the companies. So we are able to help our clients with each of the steps. So starting with the strategic objectives within risk management, starting with risk assessments, trying to help them to establish risk reporting, trying to help them with the decision making, risk treatment, and residual risk reporting and monitoring of the risks. So this is the standard picture for how to manage the risks. We are trying to help our clients to manage also the risks within the supply chain, to help them with business continuity, to help them with elaborating the business continuity plans, which are very strong tool how to maintain your continuity within this quick changing world. On the very right side, you can see one of the result of our risk assessment. So we are able to go through all the processes of our client and to help them to assess the risks, to assess the individual scenarios, to divide the processes to specific sub-processes, and to help them to identify all the risks which are connected with their business. So that's it. This is the, let's say, all the tools or all the basic tools we are using to help our clients to go through this risk management process, and to help them not only to have the best insurance policy, but also to help them to have risk management on very high level, to help them to improve it. That's all from me, and maybe I can give the word to Michael, or I don't know if there is a place for questions, or we let the question for the finish.
Tomasz, thank you for giving us insight on the risk management role and tools. There will be a Q&A session at the end, so if any questions, so we will answer them or comment them. I can share from my own experience that the importance of risk management, risk surveys, risk reports has shown a very positive trend in Bulgaria for the last, let's say, 5 or even more years. I remember because Tomasz has been visiting Bulgaria for many times, visiting different sites, risks, assessing these risks. But I can say that in the last 5 years, the market, the insureds, the clients, the insurers, the providers of insurance services are more requestive in terms of supplying risk reports and conducting risk management activities at the companies. And that is a positive trend. And of course, we support our clients with firstly implementing risk management and then providing, as Tomasz said, proper and valuable information to the providers of insurance services, to insurers. I will pass now the stage to Michał Dubski. Michał, please.
Okay, thank you, Monica, and hi everybody. I will try to share my presentation. So can you see that? Is it on a full screen? Can you see the presentation, Monica?
Yes, we see the presentation.
Yeah, it's not on full screen. You have to go to the left upper corner. Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Now.
Okay. So thank you very much, Monica, and thank you everybody for being here today. It's a real pleasure to present you today the placement of the risk, which is my passion. And as Monica said at the beginning, I'm having 2 roles at Renomia. I'm heading the client services department, which has everything to do with our day-to-day service, quality of the services being provided to our clients, and also with the strong alignment with the claims, because this is where our services are important to have once the claim occurs, to have the quick payout. But on the other hand, since I have a deep broking background in the international insurance and reinsurance markets, so I'm heading here also our international broking center here at Prague, which is intended to place large risk in the various industries, many difficult ones. We will talk about the large risk placements, where usually the domestic markets have no capacities on such exposures, and then the foreign markets comes into place with their support, mainly in terms of the reinsurance. So basically, to kick this off, I would like to start with the current market conditions, because what the Tomasz was saying in the previous presentation is something which we brokers are unable to proceed with the placement in terms of difficult and the large risk, because we need to have the risk identified properly, to present them in a proper manner to the markets, to the underwriters. In terms of the risk quality, there is also the key challenge, which is the current market conditions. And this is what is presented on this slide. Because, you know, the last year there's been high volatility on the stock exchange market, as the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones did like these quick swifts, and the same applied for an insurance market. So as you can see, for the whole global insurance market, there's been spike in the rates across all lines of business. In terms of scope of coverage, the insurers tend to decrease their capacities and to shrink a little bit their policy wordings. However, in terms of the most affected market, it was the UK. It was the UK London market, which is the center of the insurance universe. I would put it like this way, from the historic point of view as well as from its importance. And there's been a tremendous swift in the rates last year, not only in relation to COVID, but also due to Brexit, because there's been certain implications of the Brexit as well. So coming back to our continental Europe, where we are part of this as the CE region, we see also some spikes in the rates as well. However, it wasn't that high as compared to the UK market and other territories. To dive deeply into the lines of business, what we do, so mainly, the liability, property insurance. So now looking into the continental Europe, including the CE region. So one of the most affected line of business from the global point of view, and it's the same applied for the continental Europe, is the financial lines and mainly D&O insurance. Why the D&O insurance? Because the last year there occurred the COVID and there is economic uncertainty. Therefore, there are hardly impacted industries, travel, leisure, food, and these restaurants, which basically might bankrupt, and therefore the management team might be in the constant exposure in terms of their liabilities towards the shareholders if the company goes bankrupt. So there might be some follow-up lawsuits. Therefore, the insurance market reacted very, I would say, aggressively in terms of the selection of the risks, also on the renewals. So we saw the last year the increasing rates for airlines like 500 times on the renewal, because they basically have almost no revenue. Last year they had almost very the revenue went down, and then there was really uncertainty around this insurance. In terms of the property insurance has started to harden, I would say, in the Q3 2019, mainly due to losses in the difficult industries as the power and energy, and also I would mention the power like coal, because as you can see, there is the green energy initiative, so lots of insurers exited from writing the coal exposures. So therefore, due to the limited number of insurers, basically there is no that high competition, then there is the spike in rates. So there were lots of circumstances behind the increasing of the rates, also in the property insurance space. In terms of the liability, I will compare it to general liability, product liability. We see more or less still stable insurance market in our territory, despite the fact that there are some increasing rates, but mainly I would say in the automotive space and maybe life science and pharma. But for the remaining industries, as real estate, it's still very stable. Construction is still very stable, also on the general liability part. And I will put the one real example, because I mentioned already the D&O, and this is not the advertisement for Tesla, but that's the real-time implications of the market hardening last year. And the Tesla in particular, the CEO Elon Musk decided last year not to renew the D&O insurance due to the substantially higher renewal terms experienced last year. And he basically provided the personal guarantee to the management team and the particular directors and officers. So if they are going to be liable for any loss, so he will pay it out of his own pocket. So basically, coming back to this and part of the what the Tomáš was saying, it starts from the risk identification. It's up to us advisors how we are going to deal with the risk, and only one solution is the risk transfer insurance. Because you have the many other tools how you can deal with the risk. You can mitigate the risk. You can basically keep the risk, and you will have some budget for potential claims arising in the future, and you will pay it yourself, and then probably might be more efficient way than buying an insurance and pay the premium. So these are the multiple options how you can deal with the risk, and this is the real-time example how in particular Tesla dealt last year with the D&O renewal. So basically they didn't renew, and there was some personal guarantee of the CEO. Since we discussed about the placement, so basically a part of the risk surveys and the business continuity plans for the hard to place risk, which needs to be well prepared, because in the current market conditions, it's basically not possible to place any risk without the good quality risk surveys and the business continuity plans, and the risks need to be really well described in order for us brokers to approach the markets to market the risk. Because what we are doing, the brokers going to the markets and the underwriters, we are marketing your risk, the risk of our clients, how the facility is well protected, what is the loss history, how do you deal with the frequency loss, to have a good, I would say, level of deductibles set it as part of your policy. So also we have to discuss your self-retention, yeah, because having the lowest possible deductibles is not always the best possible way how to deal with the risk, yeah, because each and every company should basically calculate some worst case scenario if the factory is going to be put in fire, so there is going to be material damage and consequential financial loss in terms of the business interruption. So this is what is the main concern of the shareholders and the management team, and not the frequency losses. Obviously the frequency losses occur on the day-to-day basis on the operation, but then we usually advise to clients to rather go with the higher deductibles and those lower losses to deal internally in terms of setting up proper risk management procedures where Tomáš and his team might assist. Yeah, so this is how we look into this from the various angles in order to set up the proper scope of coverage in terms of the policy wording, broadness of the policy wording, also the limits. Yeah, because why we should basically put the large limit for flood if we will find out that your facility is not in the flood zone, so therefore there is almost zero probability of the loss. So therefore, just coming back to Tomáš's topic, this is all where it has to start. Yeah, and in addition to this, once we have all this information ready, we are aware of the market conditions, so we proceed with the placement of the large risk on the domestic and the international market. So I will give an example. If you have in Bulgaria, if there is a large power and energy company, so usually we are placing the property insurance with the business interruption and potential extension with the machinery breakdown as well. So usually the domestic market don't have the capacity to write the entire risk. Yeah. So what the clients usually see is the local policy with some local insurance company. I don't know, it might be Bullstrat or whoever else. Behind this policy, there is multiple schemes how markets, insurers and reinsurance are basically sharing the risk on the various structures. It might be on the quota share basis, basically covering the proportion of the risk on the ground up basis, or it might be just certain level of the risk exceeding some losses. Yeah, it might be some non-proportional structures you can see on the right hand side, and then this might be hidden behind the policy, and there might be like 10-20 markets involved, and this is what we do. Yeah, this is what we do. We set up also the marketing strategy towards the markets and to present the risk in the proper manner, and also to basically identify the appetite, underwriting appetite of insurers and reinsurers who can write particular risk and what is their most preferable option in terms of the taking a risk on the anticipated insurance proposal. Yeah, so this is quite sophisticated, I would say, discipline. And in the current market conditions, it's not very easy. Yeah, I have to admit, especially for the power, energy. Also, we are facing problem with the waste management industries, also with the heavy industries, the steel producers, aluminum producers. But apart of these industries, we have also difficulties with the financial institutions where are crucial D&O coverage and some commercial crime insurance and the professional indemnity. So basically, once there is the alignment with the foreign market, we need to be very much confident how we are going to present the risk, because we are basically serving our clients and we want to bring the best possible result. Yeah. So this is just in a nutshell, because it's very light, I would say, broad discipline, and it goes with the risk management. What the Tomáš said. Then we have to be aware of the market conditions, and then we have to set up, we as brokers and my colleagues in my department, to set up the best possible, I would say, structure in order to pitch it with the markets and bring the results, yeah, which will be appropriate for the client. So in order to, and as Monika said at the beginning, as part of our international broking center, which is at Renomia in Prague, so we have access to more than 80 markets. We work on a direct basis. So there are some examples of the sea markets, some continental markets, including land market, And we also work with the markets outside of our territory, especially in terms of the placement in MENA region. Now we are doing one power plant in Pakistan. So we basically place quite lots of various and interesting, I would say, risks out of Prague, and we usually are here also for Monika's team in Bulgaria. If she has difficult risk to place, which basically local market in Bulgaria is unable to absorb somehow, so we will basically step in and help her to deliver the possible solutions for the client with the alignment with all these markets and our knowledge, expertise, supported by Tomáš team from the very beginning, because this needs to be done in the initial stage, the risk identification and the PML calculations and estimated maximum losses, and then we are good to go to market. Yeah. So this is what I this is my message, what I wanted to say here. And if you have any questions, so feel free to ask. And now I will hand over back to Monika.
Yeah. Thank you, Michal. Thank you. So I could say just from our joint cooperation, I can only admit that the International Broking Center and the placement of the risk on the international market is really demanding in terms of providing the quality risk information and risk assessment, which of course is the role of the risk management and risk managers in our structures and as well in the structures of insurance companies. And now I will pass the stage to Evgeny. We are all from the service side of the business, providing services, and Evgeny now will share his experience, his observations while implementing risk management in a company, in a production company. Evgeny, the stage is yours.
Hello, thanks for having me from the other side to participate, not against you, but mostly being an insider in the company and outsider of your business. What is interesting for me to participate here is that we have some different lines regarding the for nearly 15 years. That's a lot of time. During the crisis, actually, we started working together at the financial crisis, which was like a higher ops. I can say that we are hardly working in stable conditions now, because crisis, but on the other side, the uncertainty is going higher as well. And so we meet with a problem that a lot of insurance companies actually look for more and more stability within our business, but we get more and more uncertainty in the business. That's one of the points, and we're looking for insurance companies that would like to get more into the risks that we meet in our daily operations. Of course, this is only one of the points. The other point is that which is connected to the first one, is that we see that the classic risks are not that important for us at this stage as they were before, because the business risks are getting extended to our operations, and that means that we expect the insurance business is going to go forward into these type of risks and help us to manage them in a better way, which is of course a limited option, because some of the business risks are considered to be held inside the company. But however, that's an expectation that we have. Two small points before we go forward are that maybe as an example is a business risk for us is the risk which is connected to the intercompany indebtedness. That's very popular here in Eastern Europe because this indebtedness is pretty high compared to the GDP. It's about in Bulgaria, it's about nearly 2 times the current level of GDP. So it's quite a big business. But on the other side, our expectations for the insurance companies are really high to get included more and more into managing this risk, because we are still not able to work as the Western suppliers that we have, and have the necessary coverage of this type of business risk, which is quite important for us. I have a small point for online services. This is a little bit apart, but because we are in the real business, we often have different problems here to be solved, or risks that are really implemented in our activities. And here I would like to point a question, which is about if these new online services, which are mandatory at this stage, will improve or not the way we can solve all these risks when they come to us and to our activities. I would like to go further in my short presentation, mostly because we are in the paper business, which is interesting. What we see here is that these classic risks are redirected in some way to these new business risks, and some of them are much more important for us now, like the business interruption risks. I told you already that the uncertainty is getting higher for us at this stage. So the business is better, but the uncertainty is also higher, and this means that these interruption risks are very much near to us, to our reality, and we would like to get more and more coverage in this direction in the nearest future from the insurance companies. Also, what we see in our daily activity is that there are more options to get involved to some obstructional risks, which are usually covered in these third-party liability insurance. And thanks to Renomia, we have a coverage in this direction as well. But however, we still expect to get more and more, because in our activities we always see a lot of problems that become, and we haven't seen them before, and we will need to get much more in this option. And something which is now in the paper industries, which I already mentioned, is that we have higher growth in this crisis, because the paper business is deeply connected to the pharmacy, which was mentioned before, and as well to the food business, and they are now getting a kind of a big development while we are stuck in at home or at work, and so this is actually good for the business. But as I told you, the business risks are overcoming the classic risks that were covered in the insurance before. So if we go to third slide, the last one, um, just to get a little bit more into the business risks, what we see is that the value chain is now much more important, and we already see a sensible option to get some kind of insurance of the value that goes to our company and goes then out of it, so it passes just through us. And what I mean is have different kind of insurance coverage on any stage which is behind or forward of us. And also we would like to be sure that in these pandemic disaster times, we will have some coverage of what happens with our human resources, because this is something that usually stays aside of the main ways of which we think. And we had that problem in November, actually, that a lot of people were not at work for a month or 2 months because of the pandemic. And this was kind of a problem for us, how to keep on working, no matter we had a higher higher limit of orders, and the business was actually going well at this time. And at the end, I would like to make some connection to what we do with Renomia here in Bulgaria, and that is the fact that in Eastern Europe it is typical to have this low-cost business, to try to be more effective when you go to the Western markets. And what I see for the last 10 to 15 years is that we had some good risk management inside the business, which is necessary, and which was actually resulted from the service that we did with Renomia in the beginning of our cooperation. They were, as Thomas said, and he has been here in our plant, that we were able to identify all the good practices that we have regarding this insider risk management. But on the other side, for all these years, trying to be more and more cost effective and low cost management in terms of our financial situation, we disbanded a lot of good practices during this time. And so the cooperation with Renomia became more and more important for us in terms of these classic risks, which I already mentioned. So in some way, our cooperation actually compensates in a good way what we cannot do, or we don't have a budget to do, or we don't have a human resource to do inside the company compared to our competitors in Europe as a whole, and especially in Western Europe. So that is like a combination of things that we feel are important in terms of the upcoming times, and in terms of the insurance business and our cooperation with it, which goes to Renomia in the case of Graphoval. So if you have any questions to me, and we're ready to give some feedback.
Thank you, Evgeny. You mentioned the online insurance. The online insurance is certainly connected and anticipates a type of new emerging risks. Cyber risk, which will be the main topic of online insurance, and that was as well one of the challenges or changes that the whole industry, the risk management, the companies will have to deal with in the future. Thank you for sharing your view or your angle on the risk management. And now I would just encourage the participants once again, if you have any questions, we are ready to answer, to comment.
Maybe it's important to say if we will send the presentations to the participants if they are willing to have them. Yes, we will send the presentations. Lubasha, we will have to only agree if you will do it, or we will do. Perhaps we will send the presentation to you, and you will distribute them to. Yes, I will send them to all participants. Mm-hmm. Well, I see for the moment there are no questions in the chat too. Mm. Of course, if the participants have questions afterwards, they are able to text you or text us, and then we will send you the questions. So So yes, any questions, any comments? I see somebody just raising hand. Yes, I see you on the camera, but we don't hear you. Still don't hear you. Maybe
is now okay? Do you hear me?
Yes, now we hear. Yes.
Okay. I have one question to the last presenter, Mr. Raikov. It's relating that he mentions about the new human resource risk, which is due to COVID and people not attending their job for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. What is there on the market to compensate for this risk, the companies? What is the service there? Is there anything as a policy from the insurance providers so far?
Actually, my point was more like a question to the presenters of the insurance business, because we mostly have this classic, as I said, insurance coverage in case of some problems with the business. But it's interesting for me if we are forced to stop or decrease the business because of missing people here, if there will be some coverage. And these are questions that I cannot answer at this stage. We haven't had a problem with that still, because we have some reserves regarding human resource. But on the other hand, I was asking myself and putting this question here, what is going to happen in the future with possible coverage of this risk? So I don't have an answer for that yet.
Because I just wanted to ask this because we're in the chemical industry. Most of the small and mid-sized customers who are, let's say, more or less family owned, and somebody from the family got ill, they stopped immediately going to work. So actually the entire business is collapsed. It's like the retail, the same thing happens there. So we have an overexposure for the unpayment of the overdues from our side. And from our side, we are using Renomia as a broker for the, for the credit control, for the credit insurance. And the credit insurer do not step in the shoes of the customers who are currently ill and they cannot overpay. So they can just cancel the lines. And I'm raising the question now also to Renomia. And how a company like Renomia or the broker could help companies like us ensuring the credit risk of our customers when there is something as an event of COVID happening to them. It is not that they have a bad balance sheet or bad turnover. They just keep the business on the phone, but some payments are delayed in the long run. And how the market reacts on that. I mean, currently it reacts in a nasty way, cutting the limits and actually causing these people to stop working at all, even though they are not bad companies.
So perhaps I will step in and say that the industry, the insurance industry, was obviously not prepared for such a risk like COVID-19 and pandemic risk in such a global scheme that we have all around the world. It's not only a issue, topic, or question of how to cover or how to protect or to ascertain some resources to employees who are not appearing at the work. So it's a different directions of impact of COVID-19 on the insurance industry, on the insurance covers, which I would admit were not prepared to absorb such a pandemic risk, not only in terms of covering employees, but as well in terms of covering property, business interruption, and other risks that might depend on the consequences from pandemic and from COVID-19. That is issue or topic of consideration, I think, for the entire insurance market, because we can anticipate and expect that this pandemic might be not the last one, and it might mutate in a different forms and variations in the future. So the insurance industry should prepare for such a scenarios and, of course, answer the needs of clients, of companies, and as well of individuals.
If I can, I think that it's important to give an answer to the question if these risks that are because of the pandemic are accidental or not, or to what extent they are accidental. Because you know, it's a manageable situation. It depends a lot on the government decisions or the lockdowns or the whole situation. And if they are not accidental, they won't be able to be covered by the insurance business in the way we expect. So this is maybe the answer that we should give as a first step, and then say if the business interruption insurance or the accidental insurance that we have for regarding the human resource will be able to get involved into solving some of the negatives that might come from this pandemic risk. That's what I think.
Thank you very much.
Thank you as well, Evgeny and Georgi. So I don't see any further questions in the chat box. Perhaps so we are a little bit like behind or over the time limit of our webinar. So let me thank you once again, all participants and colleagues who presented the risk management topic from different angles, and of course for today's webinar. We hope that the themes were interesting and hope they will be in a type of useful for all of you. And it's a nice sunny Friday day, so I would like to wish all of you a lovely weekend and hope to see you in next seminar, next themes that we will be happy to organize and to present. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.